When we talk about mindset, both inside and outside of wrestling, one of the key points is about motivation. Now, there are people who are internally motivated and there are people who are externally motivated. What's the difference? Someone who is externally motivated is someone who does things for rewards, does it because they're told to do it, or does it because they should or are supposed to do it. Someone who is internally motivated, that person does it purely out of enjoyment. If I go to wrestling practice or I show up to a lift or I do some extras and I'm doing it because I enjoy working out and I enjoy the process of improvement, that means I am internally motivated. You don't see a lot of people like that. If you do, they're the super elite level wrestlers or just elite level athletes altogether. Most people are externally driven, especially youth and high school wrestlers. We are externally driven in a sense where we don't do things unless someone tells us to do it. We don't go that extra mile unless someone's screaming in our face, jumping up our butt, telling us that we need to go do these things, right? How do we go about being somebody who's externally motivated, where we have to be told to go do everything, to then go and be someone who's internally motivated, where we do it because we enjoy the process. We do it because we enjoy what we're doing. It all comes down to values. Someone who is externally motivated, where they have to be pushed and told to go do everything, they don't quite understand the values of the actions that they're doing. Let's say your coach tells you that you have to show up to the 6 a.m. lift and you sleep through your alarm and your coach calls you and he says, get your butt here, right? And your coach forced you to show up to that lift. You weren't internally motivated to wake yourself up and show up on your own because you don't understand the values of getting in that 6 a.m. lift. If you did, then you would have woken up on your alarm by yourself. You would have showed up to that lift by yourself, and you wouldn't have needed somebody to push you and make you go do it. So, what are the values of that 6 a.m. lift? The values of that 6 a.m. lift are pretty simple. Number one, it's going to help you get stronger, which is going to help you be a better wrestler. Number two, it's going to help you be more mentally tough, which is then going to help you go, again, be a better wrestler. And number three, this is all about discipline, determination, which is not only going to help you be a better wrestler, but just be a better human being overall. So once we start to understand the values of the actions that we're doing, we can start to shift from being externally motivated to internally motivated. However, if we're still doing it because of the values and we're not doing it because of the enjoyment of the improvement process, we are still being externally motivated. So this process of internalizing values, this process of internalizing these ideals, we want to be a part of that process, but we also want to grow even further past it. We don't want to just internalize it. We want to just make it a part of who we are. I'm going to show up to 6 a.m. lift because I believe in this, but I also want to show up to 6 a.m. lift because I just enjoy working out. I enjoy the fact that it makes me a badass to be able to go to 6 a.m. lift, bust my balls, go to school the next day or a few hours later. When you enjoy that process, no one ever has to tell you to go do it. It just becomes a part of who you are. It's the same thing with practice. If no one ever has to tell you to go do your extras, and your extras is something that you can do because you enjoy being that guy who is doing more than everybody else, that's internal motivation. No one ever has to go tell you to do extras because you're going to do it because it's just who you are. And when you get to that point, like we were saying at the very beginning, that's where the super elite level wrestlers and athletes, that's why they're so successful, is because they have internalized all these values into their identity, but they've taken it even a step further and enjoy that process and that identity that they have. And that's what makes them so successful. So if we're to attempt to be on that level, first of all, we can't ever allow people to be telling us what to do, in a sense of we won't do it if they don't tell us to do it. We have to be the ones telling ourselves to go do it so that we can internalize those values. And then once we do internalize those values and make it part of our identity, we take it a step further and not just learn to enjoy the process, but actually enjoy it. Because if you pretend like you're enjoying it, that's not true internal motivation. You're still externally motivated. And that's going to drain your battery every single time. When we're internally motivated, we actually go enjoy those things. That's what boosts our battery. Your battery is not going to get boosted until you start to learn and actually have internal motivation.